In this video, we will introduce Content Providers Demo. Finally, let's add our provider to our app. Here I have my Android manifest.xml, and I'm going to add my provider to my manifest. I'm going to use an Android name attribute. And within it, I'm going to put com.example.app.provider.employees-provider. I'm also going to add the Android authorities attribute. And within here, I'm going to put com.example provider.corp. The tag provider declares a content provider component. A content provider is a subclass of the content provider that supplies structured access to data managed by the application. All content providers in your application must be defined in a provider element in the manifest file. Otherwise, the system is unaware of them and doesn't run them. You only declare content providers that are part of your application. Content providers in other applications that you use in your application should not be declared. The Android name is the fully qualified package and class name of our employee's provider. If I open that class, notice that I also added a provider name as com.example.provider.corp, and that's what I use as my authorities. In my activity, I implemented the onClick add name to add a new employee record and the onClick retrieve employees to retrieve the employee records. I also set the UI up by adding labels and fields to enter data for the employee name and number, and also buttons to add an employee and also to retrieve an employee. So now let's demonstrate our functionality. I already have the Android emulator up and running. I also have already installed my app on the emulator. If you want to start the emulator and start the app, remember to first navigate to your project, right-click on it, select Run As, and then select Android Application. Here we have our content provider user interface. I'll add the name BTC test as the name, and then the number as 321. Now I'll select the Add Name button. And we can see that our content was added. Now let's retrieve our employees by clicking the Retrieve Employees button. And these are employees I added before. And we can also see the employee we just added. This concludes our discussion of Content Providers Demo.